very, very hard when you go to 50 million places. And,
Right.
you know, sometimes they're all a bunch of hype and it's a bunch of BS. And sometimes, you know, you can't make them do what you want them to do on you know, command. So
Exactly.
it's hit or miss, you know. But with a place like yours and like I was saying to Stanley, y'all both have really high, like, energy levels. And so it just runs through the place. So there's no telling what all could happen, and there's always a chance for paranormal activity because of all the high EMF and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
But I would love to come out and investigate your home. And, I mean, I've watched videos, and I've seen some of the stuff that you've been on as far as, you know, the shows. And the Ghost Adventures one, I saw, like, most of it. But on Friday and Saturday nights, you know, that's when we do our thing as far as, you know, investigating. So I'm not really going to sit home and watch those guys. I used to, but after, you know, it was getting a little ridiculous with the possessions at every location that I just couldn't stomach it any longer. I just couldn't do it any longer, and I was like, okay, come on now. You know, I've been to a lot of really hairy places. Do I now?
Zach said I'm possessed. He wrote in his book, I Am Haunted. Boy, yeah, he's.
Yeah, I didn't read his book. I'm not big on the big reading thing, but I didn't know what he said, and I was like, what in the world is David upset about? And when I looked and said, oh, so he thinks that you're possessed. Okay.
That I share my body with the spirit, that my house sits upon native ceremonial burial ground, which it doesn't. That I am, you know, that I'm volatile, and that his crew was scared of me, and that Barry Taff was scared of me. Just some things in his book that were just complete drunken lies, and I don't even know why he went so far to say things like this, because it's absolute just, anybody who believes anything that he says about me is like, you gotta really think twice about this guy's, you know, what he's saying, because it's ridiculous. David, you know, is possessed. He shares his body with a spirit. It's like, going, what the hell? Are you nuts? Come on. Go fly a kite. But go out and do that in stormy weather with a nice electrical storm. You know, I mean, I don't get that one. And that's where, like I said, it's like I gave you such a nice package, such a nice TV show. I even came back to do the follow-up, and this is how you treat me. Is like this disrespectfully speaking. And it's like, apparently I've heard he's done the same to other people. And it's like, well, you know, that's fine. He can do it to anybody he wants, but somebody's got to stand up to him and say, you know, saying enough's enough. You can't do that.
Yeah, he's been known to get into it with a few people, like him and Rob D even had a few words not too long, you know, back. And, I mean, he just seems to, he's not, I have never met him, so I don't have a real opinion, but just from what I see, I don't know. Aaron's okay, but I'm not real sure where I stand on that one. I just don't appreciate, you know, when people talk shit about other people and, you know, try to tear people down, because successful people build people up. Jealous people or, you know, nasty people or whatever, they tend to tear people down, and that's not successful to me. And I just don't find it very, very flattering for him to be doing. So I can understand why you were completely upset and still upset, and I would be too. And I think I have to give you props for standing up to somebody that did that, especially somebody that has such a huge following. For whatever reason, you know, but I think it was, I take my hat off to you for standing up for yourself, because a lot of people just, because of who they are, or what their stature they have, they think, oh, I can't, you know, rock the boat or say anything, but, you know, I'm glad that you actually said that's BS, and you're not going to sit there and tell people that crap.
Yeah, I'm not going to stand for that. That's just trying to assassinate my character, you know. I've got news for you. That ain't going to work. And, look, I don't care who follows him and why they follow him. I just know who I know, and I know who I am. And none of what he said is true about me. And, you know, he's nobody. To me, he's on the downward spiral. You know, I don't care how many followers he has. Soon enough, he won't be on television. He's already getting lambasted by people that are tired of him. I think, you know, his time has come and gone. I hate to say it, he's on his last legs, but I'm really not terribly impressed with his behavior, and this is the second time I've had a run-in with him with his attitude and saying things that are not true about me. And you know what I say? Look, bozo, the clown, I don't care what you said. I'm not on television like you, peddling your gosh darn television show. I live in a real haunted house. You had to buy yourself some demon house in Iowa. Big deal. Whoop-de-doo. You bought a cauldron of a serial killer from the 1950s who used that cauldron to boil his gosh darn victim's guts in. Wow. Sensational. It ain't haunted, and for that matter, you're only possessed by bull, as far as I'm concerned. You're a phony. You're a fraud. You know, anybody that has to go out to those lengths, to P.T. Barnum lengths, to buy this and to buy that, to make him sound bigger than he is, that's pretty much, you know, a cheap ass ruse at best. I live in a house that's haunted. For 13 years, he could spend less than 3.5 hours in here before he was, as you say, ceremoniously removed from the house by the spirits. So let's just call a spade a spade. He's nothing to me. I could care less. He doesn't threaten me, he doesn't bother me, and the fact is he's a chicken shit that'll never come back into this house again, and even if they paid me $1 million and he was willing to, I wouldn't. But the fact is, he couldn't and wouldn't dare come back here because he was afraid of my house, and furthermore, I have nothing to fear about him. He's a nobody. He's a little Las Vegas rat. You know, come on. He's a leather-clad rat from Vegas. Whoop-de-doo. Not much to say about him. He's pretty much Sin City in a bag, a leather bag. Nothing really to say about him. I'm not interested. I don't even bother thinking about him. You know, just to set the record straight so people know that I'm not possessed, and the fact that what he said was a bunch of bull, and he's a bully, as a matter of fact. There's the joke. He threatened to pull the show before it aired because I basically went on Twitter and said that, you know, what he was saying in his book about me were lies, and he got all pissed off about it. He's got a thin skin as well. He's got a thinner skin than Teflon, than tin foil, as a matter of fact. I've heard people have smitten me saying, look, I said a comment about him, and he blocked me from his Twitter account. I said, well, what do you know? He's a thin-skinned bum. Who cares? You know.
Well, I'm glad that you got to set the record straight for everybody because you know, for one, like I said, I didn't read his book, so I didn't know what he said. I knew he said something that wasn't very favorable, and then when I heard your comment, and that you had nothing to hide, and I know how catty these people can be because I've had a couple of people come after and say lies about me, and you know what? I just go about my business, do my thing. I don't let them get to me anymore because they're not worth it. Karma will take care of shit like that. So I'm gonna sit back with my popcorn and maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't, but I know that karma will take care of those kind of people. And it sure does. And it's a bitch only if you're one, right? It's a bitch only if you're one. So I really want to thank you for coming on my show and taking your time out of your day to do this. And I am definitely coming to one of your investigations at some point in time, hopefully soon. But could you tell everybody where they can find information on coming to one of your investigations? Because I know you have one coming this weekend. Is that right?
Yep. Friday and Saturday night we have an investigation here at the Omen House. You can go to Eventbrite and type in the Omen House Investigations, and that's Eventbrite, BRITE.com. And you can look up the Omen House Paranormal Investigations, something like that, and you'll find it. You can also go to Facebook under Omen House, O-M-A-N, House Paranormal Investigation. You'll find that. There's also houseattheendofthedrive.com, and that's all spelled out just as if you had taken Houseeat. You know, house, just spell it all out. Smush it together. Don't drop any of the letters. And .com. Also on Facebook, there's House at the End of the Drive. And like I said, if you want to go, it's $99 for 7 hours of investigating here. You can take as many pictures, EVPs, and video as you like. And all the food and everything is included. Oh, and we also give you a T-shirt, your choice of a House at the End of the Drive T-shirt. And on the back it says, I survived the Omen House. Or a baseball cap we also just are getting in. And we give those to you as well for free. as well as the tour of the investigation, and as I like to say, at the time of your life, because I don't know too many places you can go to that are really, really haunted where something's going to happen and you're going to be a part of it, and it's going to be something that you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
I can't wait. Well, thanks a lot, David, and you have a great evening. And everybody go check out that house at the end of the drive, .com. Thanks a lot, David.
Thank you very much.